All right. Welcome once again to Curious Success Podcast, episode 18, part 2, focused on where we are at with our Black man credibility. I am the key contributor, Rasheem, and these are my guests. So you can once again briefly introduce yourselves and, of course, start off by just, describing what is your mood coming into today's discussion. Any one of you could go first.
Yeah, I go. My name is Clevester Haynesworth, aka Cleve, aka Cleve's Cuts. My mood coming in today, I would say I'm a little drained. I'm a little drained.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that. Charles Parker. I don't have any other AKs or anything like that. But
You want some?
Too old. I'm too old for that right now. Too old for that. I got my grown man. No. All jokes aside, though, I'm like Lee said, I'm drained as well. I'm tired. To be honest with you, I didn't wake up not too long ago, maybe like 20 minutes before. So I'm glad Simba sent that text, that reminder. So
thank you for joining us.
Yeah, what up? Marlon. I'm Marlon. How y'all doing? Relative of Rye. I'm frustrated. That's my mood coming into this right now. I'm frustrated. I'm ready to let off some shit.
Morning, everyone. Simba Hughes here. And I'm actually quite mellow. I had conversations with several brothers this week. So I'm just kind of low key right now. Just observing and obviously, looking forward to hear the conversation. Yeah, and we'll see what's up. This part 2. So let's get it.
Good evening, all. Rashad Jenkins, and right now I'm unbalanced because I'm juggling a lot of things. Close the door. I'm on Zoom, as you can see. So I'm a little unbalanced, but I'm excited for the conversation.
Great. And I would say right now it's kind of like in between, because I'm anxious. But there's been so much talk about this freaking election work and so forth. Is just like, okay, and then I potentially may be facilitating a support group for work around just the reaction after the election. So yeah, I'm more anxious, but I'm definitely, excited for this conversation, and I'm looking forward to having it with you all.
Bro, I appreciate you having me.
So let's jump right into it. Be mindful of your backgrounds too as well, fellas, just in terms of if there's noise going on that's like not you talking about the case, with muting your mic if need be. So has the Black father reputation evolved from being stereotypically referred to as an absentee parent in our present times? Has the Black father reputation evolved from being stereotypically referred to as an absentee parent, in our present times?
I guess I'll start. I would definitely say that it has. I definitely feel like there is Black men are definitely taking on ownership of that role a lot more, taking a lot more serious. And I think it's because it's just been so documented or just recorded, just like in their past or just like in overall within our culture, to where it's like, I think it's definitely, I think this new generation, or this even respects to our generation, just decide like, okay, it's time to step up for a change. I'm not saying like every parent, just because you're around saying that you're doing the most, but ultimately, I feel like a lot of Black men definitely are stepping up, and I feel like that narrative is changing. On a pretty steady diet, on a pretty steady basis. And I think it speaks to machine, like the kids that we work with, and archers, Rashad and Clee. I remember the kids that we worked with. I mean, I remember one young person in particular, Donovan, one of my first mentees, and he expressed to me the first time, like, when he's seen his child born, it's just like how just and encourage him to change his ways. Same thing with Israel. And I don't mean to be name dropping, but these are just names that come to my mind as far as like young men of color who definitely are taking fatherhood serious. And I'm not sure like, what's their progression or like, what's their status as of right now, but just speaking to what they were doing at that time, to which I knew them and was in contact with them. I think I think the narrative is changing around that.
See, I'm saying here, and I'm really trying to analyze the question, right? Because I know the role of Black fathers, like it's a stereotype that Black fathers are not there and this and that, but that's really all it is. So I'm really sitting here and I'm trying to analyze the question: has the narrative changed? And my answer for that is no. The narrative hasn't changed, because if you still look at it, that stereotype still lingers, and it's like we got to prove ourselves or go even extra harder as a Black father, and we still don't get the credibility of being that role model figure. It's not there. It's not given. It's just like we got to still fight against that stereotype that has been put out there. So we still fighting that. So the narrative hasn't changed.
I agree with that. I was gonna say, so I agree with both. I mean, like it's definitely evolved, right? Just some social media things you see online. So I was a part of that. I guess narrative or box as far as my pops, right? That's something that I didn't grow up with my pops, so I'm a part of that. And that's something that I've definitely observed because it's close to home, and I definitely think so I agree. I agree on one end. I agree with Charles because I feel like it's definitely evolved. Black men have definitely gotten better with that on all walks of life. Because some you see it on one side with the quote unquote, the poverty lines, and you also see with folks who are supposedly doing well, and they're not spending time with their kids, they're absentee, right? And their kids end up messed up later on in life because they weren't there, even though they were, sending money, right? I've seen both sides, so I would say it's definitely gotten better. On the flip side, the narrative is still there. We've gotten better, but like from a societal perspective, the narrative is definitely still there. And you see that, especially now in this, you guys talk about election coming up, in this day and age where a lot of people are very outspoken about their racist and biased behavior. You hear a lot of it now. Maybe sometimes you thought it was in the closet. You hear a lot of it now where something would happen to a Black individual or to a Black father, and you see the vitriol. If you go on Twitter or something, you see like a lot of comments. A lot of people still talk like that. So I agree with both sides. I think Black men have definitely gotten better, but on the flip side, the overall narrative of how people view us, I think there's still work left to be done there.
I guess I'll jump in. They all had like great points, and I agree with that. I definitely think the narrative has not changed much, but I think it's also subjective too. It depends on who's viewing the Black father, whether you're different race, different background, cultural, etc. Also plays a part on the level of the gauge, like how they view the narrative. Um, in regards to like actually making change, I think there has been progress when it comes to that. I feel like as Black men, I feel like we are more so holding each other accountable for being a father figure. Um, and I think we need to continue that and to spread that amongst us. You know what I'm saying? So for example, like every one of us on the Zoom, if you got a homeboy that got like 4 kids and he's not taking care of his kids, I'm pretty sure we not gonna rock with that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? Versus maybe 20, 30 years ago, it could have been, looked over like it was just not a big deal. But I think the key thing is, us holding each other accountable, for like our friends and for our Black brothers. Like, hey, you got to take care of your responsibilities and make that cool. You know what I'm saying? Make that the right thing to do. So yeah, that's my point of view on that.
You got something to say over there, sir?
No, I'm good. That topic. That's like that. Like they saying, I agree with everybody, but that narrative, of course, is not going to change, and it won't change. They don't want that to change. They want to hear us Black men. We're no good. We're deadbeat dads. We're not taking care of our families. But in reality, there was a lot of us out here that's doing that. There's a lot of us that's taken care of and is home and doing what a man is supposed to do, regardless of being a Black man. You know what I'm saying? But the society is not gonna concentrate on that. It's not gonna put that out there, but they will make sure that they let you know that there's people that are out there that are not doing nothing. So that's not gonna change, man. It's remember, one bad can supersede all the good you did in your life, man, and all the good that is happening. You get what I'm saying? It's so that would never change, man. That topic is crazy to me, man. A black man, a father figure. Forget Black man, father figures. They don't get praise. Only, you know what I mean? It's like you don't hear that. You don't say that don't happen. You know what I'm saying? And it does. I'm not gonna say, but to an extent, that don't get talked about. What get talked about? How many of them not taking care of their kids? Maybe they can't. It could be a situation that they're going through. They can't take care of themselves. How they gonna take care of their kid? You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of us out there that's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? It's not an excuse, but hey, if he can't take care of himself, man, how he gonna do that? But they stress that part. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of us out here. I know a lot of us out here that I mess with and I don't mess with that's doing their thing. But nobody talks about that.
No, I agree. I think that's a valid point. I feel like it's all subjective, but also compared to other races and Black male men face more obstacles, which like makes it difficult for us to carry on certain things, such as police brutality, such as violence, such as education, getting locked up financially. Like technically we at the bottom of the totem pole. Like we fight on a daily basis. Like as soon as we wake up, we got to figure out how we're gonna tackle this, figure out how we're gonna tackle that. So with all that spreading us thin, sometimes it can make it hard for us to even carry out our responsibilities compared to other races who may not have to worry as much as we do. And I think that also plays a huge part as well.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much all of your viewpoints. I feel like that like it has evolved in terms of a Black father. Yeah, the narrative it's still out there. Um, I feel like internally it kind of like sometimes it's a struggle for me because I know my father wasn't present and may never be present in my life ever again. So I have my internal struggles with that when I just think about like even when I was locked and in a situation where this man actually wrote me a letter and say would I pay for him to come and visit me, help him in his transportation expense to come visit me. And I was like, the fuck? But anyway, I feel like it definitely has evolved. I feel like there's definitely more and more Black men who want to be present for their children. But on another side, another viewpoint that I want to add to this, because I feel like I see this, I still see the challenges and struggles with maintaining their relationship with their woman. which still will lead to some level of dysfunction within the family and within that whole, relationship, period. You know, that's something like I feel like even if they are being present, and maybe because with working with young people, I'm seeing more younger people become parents at earlier ages, and they just not ready for that whole responsibility of not only being present and maintaining you know their relationship with their child, but also maintain their relationship with their significant other. But I feel like I've seen more of a trend of that, where it's like that's not a old like that's not a new narrative. Like that's something that's been happening, but I feel like that part is still where there hasn't been as much momentum as one would want to see. And in my viewpoint of how I see it, I feel like that dysfunction is still happening when it comes to that relationship, which also, of course, could potentially have a negative impact on that child and how that child is being raised.
See, but then when you look at it like that, you got to look into the contributing factors of the relationship. And then when we're speaking on young people, I was a young parent myself. I had my son at 18. And I'm going to be honest with you. The major issue was I didn't know my son's mother. So it's not like, is there a lot of contributing factors like not knowing the person that you're having a child with, not knowing how to communicate, not even knowing the responsibilities of being an adult because you just now hit young adulthood, not having the financial means. All of these things contribute to arguments and fights and debates because you can't see eye to eye. You guys just don't know how to communicate. But that all contributes to the having child at a young age, not knowing the person you're having a child with. All of that goes together because every as a young person, your mind is just set up on like, yo, shorty bad, I'm trying to smash. But you don't really think about what's coming next. Like, yo, the next factor is like when I found out that my son's mother was pregnant, I cried. I was 17 years old. I didn't know what to do. I cried. That's the situation that people are putting themselves in. So it's like, yeah, you have a lot of dysfunction, but even if you didn't have a child, there was still going to be dysfunction because you're not even knowing the person that you're laying with. That's going to cause dysfunction off rip. So add a child to that element, add all of the other factors of life, of your life, of now the responsibility of handling a child's life that you have no idea what to do because that wasn't on your agenda. And that's what they got to deal with.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with Rashad, and just to echo and just like probably add to that, I think that it's not even just a matter of even being young, but I think it's just ultimately just sometimes just doesn't come down to like you said, not knowing your spouse, knowing your partner, or even knowing yourselves. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think I was speaking to guy that works on my other job, and his wife and his family's in the Dominican Republic, and he was explaining to me how, life is just so simple there. It's a matter of, wake up, do your work, survive, party, drink, hang out, in the evening, but here, in America and westernized culture, there's so many different elements to just being, just the society, to just succeed, to just, let alone just survive, you know what I'm saying? And for us, especially as Black men, and I think one of you brothers pointed out earlier, is just a matter of there's so many different elements that comes into us just having to survive. It's just sometimes we're spread thin, and then add that into the mix of trying to consider your partner's emotions and feelings and also being cognizant of your own actions. It could be a little bit much sometimes, especially like, finances is a contributing factor to that living situation. I'm sure a lot of brothers would definitely love to have millions in the bank. I mean, it's funny. Actually, my my younger sister-in-law, she said it was funny, but it also resonated with me. Had I knew life was going to be like this, I would have probably started saving from that first allowance that I got, when I was much younger, because just recognizing like, the importance of finances, financial literacy, and setting yourself up for the future. I think all those things come into play. And I think for me, even with my wife, as we prepare to, venture into having a child and everything like that. I think that it just always comes back down to me is that all those years ago when I was just thinking about myself in that point in time and not thinking so much about my future, or the fact is that I can produce and have children for the future, to have them do better than I was able to do. So I think there's a whole bunch of different things that comes into there, but also at the same time, there's a whole bunch of barriers as well.
I agree on that one. I think also I feel like it's like a vicious cycle. So the same thing as like having an absentee, father in life, that also applies, to women as well, not just men. And not knowing or having an example set for you of what a relationship should be like, how to maintain a relationship, how to grow within a relationship, value the benefits of relationships. If those things are not what instilled in you, and like I'm pretty sure most of us we've either learned or we currently learning as we going. You know what I mean? Like there's no blueprint to this shit. Everything, it depends. And also add to the fact that the media um doesn't support that as well. Nowadays relationships are disposable. You know what I mean? One fuck up or one this is done. I don't need you, nigga. I'm by my do it on my own, vice versa. So it's not even nothing worth fighting for. And that's like the image that we see. That's the image that our kids see coming up. When you watch all these television shows and everything, and you look at our grandparents, like my grandfather was out here, but for some odd reason, my grandmother stuck around. You know what I mean? Like, even though we human beings make mistakes, but they was able to like at least stick together for a common cause. And now I feel like that is like missing. We so quick to move on to the next, and it's crazy because it's kind of like an illusion. Because if you're in a relationship with someone who has like great characteristics, everything is good, and they have like one fuck up, like naturally we think, hey, if I get I'm gonna get another person, I'm gonna get another girl, and that person gonna have fuck ups too, and that person gonna have the next person gonna have fuck up. It's gonna continue. So at some point you got to sit down, know yourself, know your partner, know what you're getting into, and just learn to value a relationship.
Yeah, I appreciate your insight on that. Charles, I'm not sure if you want to work adjust your blinds because you got like the zebra lighting look going on. Um, any other comments on that? I do want to quickly add too that, like, I think you know, I think the importance, which is it's so interesting because like when like I'm trying to advise like a young person and then like I'm made aware like they about to be a parent, um, and then it always seems like when I go through like the list of like, okay, well, how are are you comfortable with this decision? What is your plan of action? And then it response is always with a certain level of confidence. I'm like, really? And then I check in with them like a few months later after the baby's born. It's not the same. It's never the same. And it's just like, wow, you, however you went and like however this came about, whether or not it was like, a recreational thing and, it was just like, you came about accidentally for some people or whatever the case. But in most cases, you already knew, like, if you were having sex without, protecting yourself, that's a strong likelihood that would be the result of it. But I do definitely find that really interesting when I have these conversations and when it's in a moment before the child is here, it's like such confidence, and then I'll be visited later, like that confidence is gone. It's not on that same level, and it's like, okay, wow, the reality hit me, and then I'm like, so how's your relationship going with your partner? And it's like not good. It's like what happened? So it's like it's always challenging. Like when I think of having these conversations with these young people, and I'm trying to provide guidance on just how they can navigate through that, and then stay focused on their goals. If it's completing this training program or whatever they're trying to do or trying to accomplish, it's like trying to keep them still focused on that, but now knowing they have to like handle the situation of being a parent and handle their relationship. So this next question, um, if you need me to explain it in a little bit more detail, just let me know. But do Black men adapt inflated egos as a defense mechanism to being systematically oppressed? Do Black men adapt inflated egos as a defense mechanism based on being systematically oppressed?
You said deflated ego?
Unpack that a little bit. Unpack that a little bit, brother.
Inflated egos.
I thought you said deep. So inflated egos.
Yes.
Okay. Inflated egos.
I think so. I agree. I think so. If I'm getting this question right, I think inflated egos. Yeah, because most of us, you know what I mean, have the same narrative for the most part, right? Either, you know, we quote unquote didn't come from shit, or we had disadvantage and so forth. And you know, you could look at in like certain rappers or some shit, like they gotta have chains, they gotta do this, they gotta do that, they gotta boost their ego to balance, you know, to counteract. You know what I'm saying? To counteract it. So, or even sometimes you see on a smaller level, like, you know, especially like Black men, you got to prove your toughness. Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I do this, I do that, or I body this, I body that. And it's like, what are you trying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to gas that up to make yourself feel or seem better. And I definitely think that's a crazy thing that a lot of Black men have. Like, but I think it also goes back to like the initial question you stated in the previous podcast is it's like we have to you know, fulfill that void. You get what I'm saying? Like we have to man, that was the question. It's like Black men, we are often stereotyped as,
You talk
you
about
know,
the profile?
yeah, the profile that we stereotype a certain way. So it's like we kind of gotta like, you know, boost our ego up to counteract that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think so.
Can you repeat the question and just unpack that a little bit more?
Actually,
I forgot it too.
yeah, but the actually how Clevester broke it down was kind of like yes, it's like how like in the sense is like how you responding to the system, you know, the play like the functions of the system, you know, so it's like how you responding to that, and his way is like okay, yeah, you know, whether or not if it's like out of balance, you got to prove that you're tough, you know, you got to prove that you know you willing to protect, you willing to fight, you want to stand on your word, things like that, you know. uh, and you know it's pretty much saying how you're responding, you know, like do you feel like that's something that has to be adapted, you know, in situations where it's like okay, like I have to show, you know, it's important that like, you know, I show this heightened level of awareness about myself and my manhood that, you know, would not cause doubt, because I have to protect this profile and, you know, show that I am not weak based on already responding to a system that's against me. So that was the basis of the question that's being asked.
Well, I think it's subjective in the sense of because there's a whole bunch of other different determining factors like, you know, culture, you know, ethnicity. You know, I think that has to do because I know for example, like families, from the, from the Caribbean islands, they don't believe in like things like, mental health or depression, what I'm saying? Like there's no time for that. You know what I'm saying? So, and even like, I feel like even now in society, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay for a Black man to say, like, listen, I'm going through some shit. You know what I'm saying? I've suffered depression. I'm going through something. Whereas before that wasn't the case. It was a matter of looked upon as weak, crazy, all these other different factors to where it's just like there probably really was something going on that wasn't treated accordingly. And as an end result, it affects so many different relationships in other parts of your life. You know what I'm saying? And I think ultimately, in hindsight, to the whole idea about manhood, it just comes back down to this, this level of hyper masculinity. Especially for Black men, because you understand, like, this sort of, like I said, there's certain traits that just come with us. You know what I'm saying? And not for nothing, like even colorism plays in it. You know what I'm saying? Like even like being lighter skinned means you're soft. Being darker skinned means you're tougher. The fact of the matter is that if you walk away, you're soft. And all these other different.
Well, light skin is you're pretty, and dark skin is you ugly.
That too. That's it. Well, I'm not going to, I wouldn't even go that far to say this far as like, ugly part, but
keep it in context, Rasheem.
Keep it in context, Rasheem. Charles was keeping it. You know what I'm saying?
Charles was keeping it in context, brother. Charles kept it in context.
But
I digress. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, but yes, all those different things, all those different tropes and whatnot, just associated with just Blackness, it definitely has an impact as far as like how we react to the larger society, or even most time how we react with each other. And this is like, and again, credit to my wife, like she also expressed to me, like, to where it was like certain spaces where it seemed like I had like a heightened awareness, or like a heightened sense of, security, to where it's like, okay, I'm in this club or I'm in the spot. There's a lot of people, a lot of dudes I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I have to be on my P's and Q's, to where it's like now I can just go treat everything accordingly, just relax and settle down, and it just welcomes good vibes. But again, it's a matter of what the past, or growing up in certain neighborhoods, be around certain other men, just playing off of what I've seen or what they express was valid during that time. It translates to other parts of my life, and it definitely suppressed and messed up, like, relationships. It's just like my line of thinking in the world, but thankfully things got better in that sense. But yeah, I definitely think that it is inflated ego. Because I don't think it's necessarily just some sense of just ego, but I think it's just a sense of just being. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just also rooted in survival and just, having to move out here in these spaces.
I'm gonna add a little something too. I think it shows a sense of growth and development once you become comfortable with yourself. And I feel like the inflated ego, those who have that, there's different levels to it. It's just they're not comfortable with themselves. And once you become comfortable with yourself, that allows you to actually grow. And I feel like, that inflated ego actually stunts your growth. For example, let's just say, and like Charles said, it's like kind of subjective too. So it depends on like your environment, what you grew up in. But let's just say, I like drinking wine every now and then. And I'll be like, yo, I'm about to go to a wine tasting. Niggas would be like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, yo, I'm about to cop a bottle of Henny. All right, that's cool. You feel me? Like, so it's like, you comfortable.
Look.
You know what I'm saying? But you gotta be comfortable with yourself. To be like, nah, I fuck with the Henny, but I'm gonna go try this wine too. Like, why not?
I think it's definitely a couple of factors that Charles said. So I'm originally from the Caribbean, and I remember that wine thing. I was celebrating one of my boys' birthday this year, and I had wine and with a wine glass, and they all were like, what the hell are you doing?" Because they know it's Johnny, it's rum, it's Henny, it's definitely not wine. I didn't drink wine until I came to America. That was not something that you touched at all. No, that was not even in the bar, in the store, in the club, in the fete, nothing. So yeah, that definitely something that, you know, to me, from a culture perspective, where you got to, like, you know, kind of, you could argue evolve, or you could just argue, hey guys, I'm into this too. That's all, right? But I do agree with the you know, funny. I think I was listening to a podcast or something with Jay-Z, and he, funny enough, he was, I think it was, I don't know if it was New York Times interview or whatever, and he was saying that a lot of, I think to your point, Rasheem, a lot of African American men in the projects where he's from, he was talking specifically about him. They have these inflated egos, or something he used, but it meant the same thing. And he was like, that's based on the system. Imagine you born and raised in a block and, you know, all these buildings and all the same type of buildings right next to each other. And it's kind of survival, right? And you kind of being bred in a type of environment where you have to be forced to act a certain way. And I feel that when he was saying, at least from his environment, because I can't speak for everybody, that when a lot of people that he knew, that's why they acted like that. And that's why they, to your point, Rasheem, or to use your words, had inflated egos, because they were insecure. But it was because of the situation that they were bred in. So I had to act like this, or else something may happen to me, right? And as a result of that, that's why they act like that. That's why, to Cleve, to your point, they may be uncomfortable, but it's kind of like they weren't taught to do the right thing, because they were raised in a certain environment that you could argue was, well, not argue, you could, they're raised in a certain environment that was meant specifically for our type of people. So, you know, I high level, it's definitely cultural, right? CP, you mentioned, like, in the Caribbean, definitely, like, I'll say it, my pops, like, mental health and depression, they'd be like, man up. They ain't got no time, man up. We talking, you depressed? What you got? You tell me what you got to worry about. You ain't got no bill. Like, what you got to worry about? Man up, right? He still says that to this day. And my mother, they ain't got no time for that. So that generation, definitely, that's a big no-no in their eyes, because that's how they were raised. I do think they're getting better with it, because they're, you know, you're realizing people like our age, they have issues, and they don't have to, all the inflated egos, etc. They realize, oh, you know what? It's a bigger problem that I never knew, because no one told me how to face it, right? Meaning their parents. But yeah, I think it's cultural. I think it's situational, where you grow up. I think it's regional, to the light skin, dark skin. That's definitely a factor. So all of those things count to it. And I'm not sure if we can. Those type of things are going to take a long time to be erased, because of some of it systematic oppression, some of it cultural. You know, certain cultures, like, it's hard to get away from your culture if you're still in it. So, you know, so that's my thoughts on that overall, though.
I agree with a lot with all you guys were saying, and I just want to add in the fact that, you know, a lot of these inflated egos are developed out of the fear of being socially outcast, right? So you got to fit in into these social constructs, and if you don't, then you stick out like an asshole, and then you're out of that community. So imagine, like, for example, right? Let's say we all coming out of Marcy, since that was the project that he listed, right? Now imagine that a 14, 15-year-old goth African-American kid coming out of Marcy. Can you picture that? No, right? But I guarantee you, there's young kids that want to experiment with different things, but they fear being outcast, and they fear being singled out and discriminated against, because society, that's what they choose to do against things that don't go with the agenda. For example, like in the early 90s, it was okay to wear baggy pants, right? Look at the jeans that these cats are wearing now. You can't even step out with some baggy jeans on right now. Like, they tight to the ankle, they fit it, but that's the social norm. In the 90s, that would have been considered homosexual. Even this, I had to say homosexual. I couldn't even say, you know what I want to say. It just would have been considered homosexual. So when society changes, people develop these inflated egos to fit in because they fear being outcast, especially in minority communities where people just don't understand. And that's just my last thing I'm gonna say because it's my hour, Rasheem. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.
Appreciate you, brother. Enjoy the
All
day
right,
with your
man.
daughter.
See you, man.
Appreciate
Peace,
it,
man.
Be safe out there, man.
Yeah.
So, question: adapting to your environment is inflate the ego? Adaptation?
No, that wasn't the exact wording. So it's pretty much saying, do black men adapt inflated egos as a defense mechanism to being systematically oppressed?
Yeah, but I heard now, correct me if I'm wrong. I heard a lot of guys saying that they where they grew up at, they acted a certain way just to not stand out. That to me they was adapting to their environment. That's what it was. I don't know if they was inflating a certain kind of ego.
I think it goes hand in hand. So it's like let's say I'm adapting to my environment and I go down the block and I had to get into a fight, I had to shake it out with whoever, you know what I'm saying, a couple people, whatever, right? And I come back to you or you're my homeboy, and I'm just like, yeah, man, these dudes, boom, boom. I'm being neutral. I'm adapting to my environment. Now I feel like an inflated ego would be like, all right, let's say I got my ass whooped or whatever. Nah, fuck these, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to demolish the whole block. I'm about to da 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 da. Or I came back with 2 grenades, and then that's like you inflating it, like you doing too much. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you could adapt to your environment. You gotta survive, but certain things you don't need to be too extra with. And I mean, I'm pretty sure we all experience somebody being mad extra with certain things. It's like you don't have to do that.
Like, what's so funny? I'm sorry, Cleve, but when you said that shit had me, that had me like flashback. And Marlon knows this, man. When we fought the Dominicans and I was like, I'm going to get the Mac. I'm going to kill it. Like, I'm destroying everything.
He's about to turn. I'm going to get the Mac. That was crazy.
Yeah, it's like, and then when you around that certain people, that boosts your shit up even more. Like, oh, my son about to get the back. Oh, damn, he about to da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Yes, I guess that I'm assuming that's what you meant more so, like with the whole inflated ego type thing, right?
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. But I get definitely what Marlon's saying in terms of just like adapting to one's environment. Like, I think some of it will. Like, I think when you're younger, you might feel more that it's forced upon you. And then as you get older, it becomes more of a natural thing. Yeah. For some people, like, who knows, they, dependent. But I think that's kind of like how it can be. It's like, as you are looking to seek identity of yourself, you're paying attention to what is a part of your life conditions, what's a part of your environment. And then you start taking certain things on as you see, okay, well, you're following right now because you're learning how to lead. So I'm like, let me pay attention to what's happening around me as I'm making my adjustments in terms of trying to figure out who I am and my strengths and what I value. Mm-hmm. You had anything else you wanted to add to that, Marlon?
No, I'm good now. We good. Let's go.
Copy. Just a real quick add-on to that particular question. Do you ever feel, just in terms of like, because I know, Clea, you referenced hip-hop acts, and where hip-hop now is like probably, if not the biggest genre, it's up there, right? It's leading. It's pretty much leading the way. And some people like vary in their perception of whether or not they feel like these artists are influencers or not. I feel like they all are influencers to some level of extent. Do you feel like the perception of them, because for some of them, I feel like there's a strong representation of inflated egos. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to the entertainers,
That's
I feel
exactly what
like
they just are.
I feel
Entertainers.
like sometimes like the celebrity allows them to fulfill their egos. So like, you know, like for example, like we all grow up, urban area, whatever, and it's like next thing you know, you become a rapper. Now you a kingpin. It's just like, yo, and it bugs me out to this day too. Like I listen to some of these like artists, and they talk all this big time stuff, and they be like 20 years old, 19. I'm like, where did you have time to do this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ran the streets for a year, and now you the biggest thing ever. Like, it don't even add up. But I guess when they get that
Well,
celebrity, it's like it allows them to fulfill their ego and to like inflate it to the max. And in my opinion, it's like you giving off a false image because it comes at its expense of our community. Because these young kids who are not celebrity, they think that's really what it is, but it's not. You know what I mean? They get jammed up, they
you
get
know how to
hurt,
do that. Yep.
and they ain't got no get out of jail free card. They're gonna have to live through that. And yeah, so I think that the celebrity thing is kind of tricky because it's not real. Like, yeah, in my opinion, it's not real. And unfortunately, we may know that or have an idea, but these young kids don't know. You get what I'm saying? We don't know.
I find it kind of interesting too. Just think about what you were saying, and it's like when you think about like the artists and how they choose their names. So it's like you want to represent, this inflated ego representation in most cases, and I guess it's amplified because you have this attention and all this other good stuff. But then you would choose a name like Lil this or Lil that. It's like it's like what like why would you be little anything? If you're trying to represent that you on this higher level, So
Now,
anyway.
some of these dudes do be little though.
Yeah, Lil Wayne, Lil Uzi, like
little dude. They took it all his
yeah.
biggest on little dude.
but I think to piggyback off of Clee, like, hey, it's entertainment, and I think a lot of them get away with it, right? That's strictly what it is. And I think a lot of them, they know. A lot of times, I think when you look back to Rashad, what he's talking about in the '90s and what was acceptable and what's obviously now not. People, remember they used to have in entertainment, at least the music industry, they used to have like A&R. They still do, but they had like artist development and all that. Like some of those artist development used to be like, oh, you got to look like this, you got to dress like this, you got to talk like this. Like that was a thing back in the day. And if you didn't act like that, you weren't, forget your music, because back in the day, it was your image. If you didn't look or act a certain way, then people weren't buying into your music. It's changed now. Fast forward later. To me, if you if we don't know you as a person, we are not interested in you as an artist. Like it's 180. But I think a lot of it, if you really look at it, man, if you look at the entertainment industry, look at Hollywood. Look at Hollywood. All them actors, like all that's for show. So, high level, it's entertainment. We all know. I think any sane person knows that that's all for show. To support their business and to support their brand, quote unquote. And for the most part, it's acceptable, right? Look how long the Kardashians been here. I always say, people say, what's their talent? I say the talent is remaining relevant. Because they've been here like 15, 20 years, man. Shit, like they've been remaining relevant, right? So, and people accept them and all the nonsense that they do. Because it's quote unquote celebrity. So we all know what that to me, that's entertainment. And that's now that I'm an adult, that's how I view it.
And in this era too, it's like more than ever, it's like you could purchase your ego, you could purchase your celebrity, and I think in the past you couldn't really do that. Like if you really had to like really be yourself or really do what you say, like you know what I mean.
Only in certain industries, though. Only in certain industries, because you have a lot of like if you think about like if you keep it into music and you're thinking all them pop stars and all them, that was all manufactured. All them
Yeah,
NSYNC
yeah,
and Britney Spears and all
that's
them.
true.
That was
That's true.
manufactured.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
If you think about, to me, if you're saying if you Rasheem, to your point, if you keep it in hip hop, absolutely. If you weren't a certain type of person, like individual, and you were speaking on that or rapping on it or writing poetry and your creative, a thing that you do, people would check you on that. Now it's different.
But to double back a little bit to bring it back, at the Black community, like especially like Black men. So you made a valid point, and you're right. The NSYNC and all that pop stars created, purchased, but for the most part, it wasn't detrimental. Like it wasn't too harmless, right? If you want to become a pop star, it's like okay, you do some pop shit. It's cool. You're not really harming too much.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like now, this shit is harming our community. So, to give an example, right?
Yeah.
Boom. Let's say tomorrow I start rapping, I put out an album. I'm Clee, right? And the next thing you know, I get a little buzz. Now I'm Big Clee. Now I'm throwing up the C's. You feel me? I got a big homie in the neighborhood. I pay him off. Get some other little homies. Now I'm cripping. Like, and that's it. I'm out here. I'm talking all this extra stuff. I'm doing this, doing that, and it's like now the people in the neighborhood. I mean, the real people probably know, he ain't really like that. But the kids, that's the big homie, yo. He boom, boom. Like, look who he running with, who he do. And it's like, and people, this is causing expense to our community. Because these kids that look up to you, they gonna want to do that. They're gonna follow it. And they gonna be the ones that really get jammed up.
Yeah. You see what Lil Wayne did? A lot of people look up to him with that nonsense he did.
Yeah.
Just to state, just like you mentioned, people look up to, if you were to do that in your scenario, people look up to him too.
And look how it could shift the environment.
Yeah. But his audience is diverse. He has a diverse audience. So, his influence doesn't just would be within a Black community, but because he took on this kind of like skateboarding vibe and all those other type of things that he, like the activities that he showed interest in, he actually broadened his audience, and of course, you got Drake, and who doesn't love Drake? So it is what it is when it comes to that. But I feel like, his level of influence is diverse. But
nah, bro, don't give him an excuse, bro. Because when Kanye did that same nonsense, when Kanye did that same nonsense, you ripped him, and rightfully so. Don't make it seem like if it's a broader audience, Lil Wayne, he on trash, bro. But if you know Lil Wayne don't look.
Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. What I'm saying is not just the Black community that his influence can have impact on, right? Because it's thinking about just young people, period, that he can have influence on because he broadened his audience. That's what I was speaking to. Whereas, this can have a negative impact on them in terms of what you're representing. And then what is this, like a week before the actual election date?
That wasn't a coincidence. That wasn't a coincidence.
I even saw on Instagram, they had a picture that they posted, which they said, this is Lil Wayne without Donald Trump in the picture. And that was a feed that I seen on the ground. So it's like,
the only thing I'm gonna respond to that, because I know we got to get back to regular scheduled programming, is that he's a Black man first. That's all I'm gonna say. Or he should be. Maybe he doesn't view himself that way, but he is. That's how people view him.
With dreads or locks.
I don't know what's going on there. It's falling off.
I don't know what that is, man.
Something. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
You need to get the proper juices and berries. Something's going on over there. You need to get Clee products, right, Clee?
That's what it is. That guy, check Clee.
But so is the traditional viewpoint of becoming the head of the household intimidating to a Black man? Is the traditional viewpoint of becoming the head of the household intimidating to a Black man?
No.
Care to elaborate a little more?
No.
Pretty much agree. Nope. You said it. Pretty much. Thank you.
Yeah, you can't elaborate. No. There's no elaborate. Don't need that. No. I don't know what the hell that was.
How would you define as head of household, Rasheem? I mean, you talk about it as far as economics, or is just like being dubbed the man of the house?
It's pretty much both, right? I think this was speaking to like with the last question where, not even the last question, the first question I asked about, the black man, who's a father being like the absentee parent or things like that. And there's like the other factors that may come into play with, taking, for example, like, yeah, economically, you just don't have it. Like you could have been struggling. You probably was like, felt like you were uneducated, whatever could be going on, that could potentially lead to that person feeling like, they could be intimidated by taking on that level of responsibility, and then that's it. Like, you probably feel like the relationship wasn't working out. You already know if that, for some people, it could just stop at the relationship, but it's like, okay, the relationship, the fact that I have a child I gotta take care of, these are things that is like, I'm not really prepared for. So I'm, will probably, steer left instead of going right. So that was pretty much kind of like the basis of asking that question. But also just taking into consideration just that, when I look at certain young people that I've worked with and the relationship falls out, but you're still a parent, but you're still not parents in that same household. So how that may, affect the child to know that both their parents are not in the same household, they're not together, things like that. So that's kind of like, what I was thinking about when I thought of that question.
Also, not necessarily in the terms of like financial type.
But
it's
a combination of those factors. So like,
but when you're talking about like as far as like a broken household, because you mentioned as far as like like separation, like like the parents not being together or something like that. Like how does that play a role?
I think that's two separate. I give you same machine, but I think it's two separate
questions.
Yeah, because being like a broken home, like due to conflict, and then versus like I'm pot right now, I need a place to stay, like I put my pride aside or whatever. I think that's like two different.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I was asking, because like a head of household, that's assuming that the parents are still together, with or without a child. Obviously, if you have a child, I mean that adds more components to the family dynamic. But I guess offer up just to like, I guess just to answer the question, so on some level, could it be intimidating? It depends. It depends. You know what I'm saying? And I say that not in a sense of that. Okay, for me as a man, I'm not going to hold down what I have to hold down. I'm not going to do what I have to do. But say, for example, if my wife or my woman's making more than me, does that denigrate or does that diminish or demean my position in the relationship? Does it make me any less the man in the household? Or the fact is that we both have to work in order to sustain a certain type of life? I think all those things play a part, And
make sure a smart man. Have a woman that makes more money than you, man. Smart man.
I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, something. I mean, the thing is that, all right. So this is, for me personally, like for example, my wife, she's in nursing school. She's going to become a nurse. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, she's going to be making tremendous money. You know what I'm saying? To whereas like I'm still in a nonprofit field, and not saying that I don't make good money, especially considering the field that I'm in now, but it's like, what's going to happen after? It's like, how long can I continue to sustain this? You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, there's they just got us into our 401k package and all those things. It's more or less starting, just started like few years ago. but it's like, what else is going to happen afterwards? And am I comfortable being in this bracket? Am I comfortable with my wife, making significantly more than me? And the thing is that, and we've had this conversation many times, it's not a matter of like diminishing my relationship, but it's a matter of, do I aspire to do better, or do I aspire to be at that particular bracket? You know what I'm saying? To where it's like, we're like a Jay-Z Beyonce type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, people know, Beyonce, she got her money. You know what I'm saying? We know that she's worth, but we also know Jay-Z, if he leave today or tomorrow, they both good. You know what I'm saying? And I think like that's where it provides further context and lends itself to the bigger question of like, what is it really to be the head of the household? Because again, it's just a matter of, what do you aspire to do? What's your trajectory? What do you foresee for your family? And how you going to get there, and if you're willing to go there.
Yeah, he hit it on the nail. Like, you just gotta be comfortable. Like, I think it's all subjective, because like we also live in this fake era too. So it's like some people tell whatever just to make themselves seem a certain way, but the truth will come to the light at some point too. But as long as you manly about it, your partner is cool. The goal is for y'all to like actually build. And I feel like as long as you have like goals and aspirations to keep elevating, everything should be good. Like, it's been moments when I was with my shorty and she held me down crazy. And then the next year, I'm on a come up. You know what I mean? And then like it flips. But the ultimate goal is for everybody to be straight. Because especially now during like this COVID this situation, what if that person is quote unquote the breadwinner or the head of the house, and his shit collapsed? Who gonna hold it down? Even if it's temporarily. So the goal is, if everybody's eating, all right, boom, if some shit fall off here, we still gonna have enough to maintain until I get my shit right, and vice versa. So I think it's beneficial just to, not even have that mindset like, oh, okay, I gotta be the head of the household or not. Like, shit goes up and down like seesaw, you know what I'm saying? You ain't be the head of the household for right down, then some shit could go left real soon.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I'm sorry, just to jump in, just to add to that, like, you're definitely right, because you got to think also too, like the whole idea about head of household, that's more so like a legal term. That's just like, when you sign the papers, you know what I'm saying? You got to put, somebody's name, on there, whatever the case may be, but in the grand scheme of things, ultimately, especially if it's a functioning two-parent household, both of y'all are pretty much the head of the household, because you both have to bring something to this relationship in order to make this family dynamic work. Like Lee said, like right now I'm taking on most of the bills, but when she come, she finished, then it's like, okay, now you're gonna come up, like, what is now I'm able to, you probably be able to support me, and what is it that I need to do, what I'm saying, take on other things, you know what I'm saying? So then we could both, like you said, be at that level. But ultimately, inside of paperwork, right, you know what I'm saying? Like, ultimately, sign paperwork and stuff like that. I mean, I'm the man of the household, you know what I'm saying? The man of the relationship. So put my name down, whatever the case may be. But ultimately, to share responsibility to make this thing work, though.
To me, it's comfort, man. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna add like a little bit to it too. Like, it also depends on like your woman. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I remember times like I was kind of fucked up, and we'll go somewhere, vacation. I don't know. We go out, and like she would low key give me the bread. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when we go out to spend, she won't like pay for it. She'd give me the bread in advance to go spend. You know what I'm saying? Like, without me even having to ask. So it also depends on your environment, because I guess at the end of the day, like, keep your manhood, feel manly about it, but it depends on how your partner like nurtures and treat you. You know what I'm saying, and vice versa.
I think it's both. I think the key word was comfort and being secure, and that's with the man, and that's obviously with the woman. In that discussion, if somebody's making more than you, and traditionally how the social norms are, it's supposed to be the man, but if the man's good, and more importantly, the woman's good, all that matters. You ain't got to worry about what other people think and other relationships and other couples. If everything inside good, that's what matters.
Yeah, I was gonna thank you all for sharing your insights, because it brought to mind where, as I was saying, just going over the question in my head some more about, like, it can be intimidating, but it could be intimidating based on what you might have seen in your upbringing, you know. So if you've
Yeah.
seen certain presentations in your upbringing on how like it was so challenging or whatever the case, then you would kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for that. You know,
Yeah.
you see probably, I don't know how big the pattern is, but of like you have people that say like, I'll never want to have children. I don't want to have children. I don't want to put myself in that type of situation, or they might be, a pattern of just like older parents, because it was like, you know what, I need to make sure this, and this was in line for me to be able to feel like I can be comfortable enough to actually pursue that, that point of life, that level of responsibility. Um, but I was joking about building your man cave, Charles. But you still may want to do that though, nevertheless. Um, but um, what I was gonna say is, I think it also depends on how people define head of household, because when I looked at it, it was things that I was looking for when I was younger that I just didn't see enough of. But I felt like we're part of how, and this person wasn't my biological father, but the father figure who was present, who was my stepfather, what he represented, and a sense of, protecting the household, providing his insight as that male figure within the household. Um, to some extent exhibiting some level of strength, and leadership and things like that. Like these were things like, and being responsible, like even though like there was, other challenges that he had to deal with, he was functioning enough to be able to say rent needs to be paid. I need to contribute to this. I need to do that. So it was beyond like, the economical side, but, I feel like, some people may not just be prepared to like do all of those things. But it's like how I see it, like I feel like that those are the things that are important in terms of like from what I didn't see, but what I did see, that like helped me build a better comprehension of how I would look at like a head of household. Besides, yeah, both parents can be the head of household, to be honest with you. So those are my thoughts on that. Simba, you off mute like you about to bring all the smoke. What's happening over there?
Nah, man. Nah, man.
Me, man.
Nah. I forgot to put myself back on mute. But nah, I agree. Ain't nothing more to. I agree with you, man. It depends. As I said, it's all comfort. It depends on culturally. From the Caribbean, the father was a breadwinner, and the mother was a housewife. My grandmother, for example, my father's mother has never had a job in her life.
Yep.
Official quote unquote stereotypical job. She's a housewife, so she had to raise 5 kids, but she's never had a job in her life. The father, my grandfather, he was a teacher. He was a person making money, right? And she was a person to take care of the home. And then my dad and my mom. My dad was a breadwinner. That's what I knew. So that's how I'll operate, or try to at least. But I do think if I were to be with someone who made more than me, again, as I'm saying, if the guy's comfortable and the woman's comfortable, you know what I'm saying, keep, do you, and don't worry about what anyone else has to say, because it's your happiness that matters at the end of the day. And to the household point, facts. Like it depends on traditionally, yes, they're gonna stereotype and say head of the household is the man, but it's 2020, and that means so many different things. So once you have that conversation and you break down what that means, and it's more than just signing a piece of paper, and again, and you guys have an agreement as a couple, as partners, whatever you want to call it, then that's all that matters, truthfully.
Appreciate that. You did bring a little smoke over there. It's okay.
You stupid.
But so this is kind of like a bonus question because it was alluded to earlier when you brought up Lil Wayne. So, for like based on just like, I guess, your value system, your moral code, things like that. So as you see, like, you know, these affluent, let's just say pop culture, because it's more than just Lil Wayne, right? You got
Correct.
Terry Crews,
Oh
you
boy.
got 50 Cent, you got Lil Wayne, Kanye. Um, I just feel like it's about. Wait, who else did I see? It was recent. I saw somebody recently, man. Oh man, I
Yo,
forgot who it was.
that's
But it's
all a
just like
stunt
so
to
many.
keep them relevant, man. That's what it is.
So you think it's just more along the lines of these black male like pop culture acts or whatever the case in terms of them keeping them relevant?
That's what it is, man. It's because that's what it's doing right now, right? We talking about them, and that's what they want to happen. That's why they doing these things and acting the way and doing all this, man. It's all about them ratings, man. And if we continue allowing them, we continue to talk about them and give them that attention that they're longing for, then they're gonna continue doing that, man. That's what that's all about, bro. I'm telling you. Just like that young dude, 6ix9ine, all that stuff he be doing, that trolling he be doing, and all
We
this
don't
stuff
say
is to
that. We
build
don't
up.
say 6ix9ine. We say Daniel Hernandez, son.
All right, that dude Daniel, whatever you want to. All that stuff they be doing, man. So all that stuff that they doing too, man, taking these pictures with this dude and saying all this stuff, man. That's what it is, bro. I don't care what kind of who it is. That's what it is. They whoever they got behind them told them to do that. This would make them, you know what I mean? It is what it is, and that's what that was.
Yeah, I agree. That shit is all staged. Like you said, it got us talking about it. That shit ain't really real.
Yeah,
Because if it was, it wouldn't be nothing to talk about. Or you know what I'm saying? Or it's just just pointless. And also, you gotta look at it too. I'm gonna tell you how you really know this shit is staged and this shit is bullshit. Just look at the timing of how shit is released.
Exactly.
Where the fuck was this shit was at before? Like, it's like, come on, man.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
Exactly. They probably got the bag, or they probably got money off that, man.
Yeah,
They
100%.
got paid. Exactly.
Yeah.
They got paid. It's all about money.
Yeah. But that's sad, man. Because all money ain't good money, and that's sad.
Yeah.
But you know something.
Money supersedes everything, man.
But you know something though. The scary part is, I think for Kanye, it's a little bit bigger. I mean, it's a little bit bigger of a ploy because I'm not gonna lie. Like I do remember. I'm not sure which album it was on, but he did say he was going to run for president. You know, he did spit up. He did say he was going to run for president.
Yes.
However, with all these things that's coming about, I can't help but to think that it only benefits Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a bunch of Kanye fans that are just going to vote for him just because he comes out because he has a popular sneaker. You know what I'm saying? Damn the facts, damn what Trump is saying his allegiance with Trump. You know, it just further takes away the black vote, which is something that's being very being sought after every time when it comes to around election time. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people try to reach the black vote more than anything, and I feel like for him it's just a bigger plan. For him and Trump to align themselves in the sense of take some of the black voters away. Goes to Kanye, knowing damn well Kanye don't have a chance in the world to become president this time around. And it just lends itself to the likelihood that Trump could be president again.
And then also, like I'm kind of speaking blindly, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know them personally, like I don't study them personally. But just from like a regular civilian outside point of view, it's like, what have these individuals shown to help advance our community? Like, fuck the country, but like our community. I don't know Lil Wayne for like, what has he done to like show he's helping the community? So
because that's not a story. That's not the story that they want. He probably done stuff for
So that's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna shit on it and say he don't do shit. I don't know. I don't speak on it, but I'm talking about at least in the public eye. So if you're gonna stand with this man, you in the public. Okay, so what do you do publicly? Like,
I think that I think for Lil Wayne and such that like because Lil Wayne, I'm from where because I grew up listening like to Lil Wayne, like Cash Money, and everything like that, and then just like when he eventually got his solo run, I assumed I'm like, okay, this is guy, he's gonna be like the next up. Then you got like he's claiming that he's jacking the Carter name, you know what I'm saying? So it's like him and Jay-Z, so they're gonna go bar for bar. He's trying to be up there with one of the greats, and the next thing you know, out of nowhere, he's having seizures sipping, from sipping lean and all this other shit. And I'm just like, what is going on? You know what I'm saying? And just like I didn't get to add this before, but just with hip hop culture now, yes, it really greatly influenced our youth. I mean, it depends on who, your self-awareness, your, I guess, foundation at home or just culturally, whatever the case may be. But yeah, it's a lot of influence. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of kids think that it's okay to pop a Xanax, Vicodin, all these prescription drugs, to sip lean, because I'm having a hard day, or just because it's to get me going. It surpasses like even just smoking weed anymore. It's just a matter of this is acceptable. You know what I'm saying? It's very damaging to a lot of our young people. You know what I'm saying? Because it's teaching them not really necessarily how to cope, and also too, it's the mortality rates from it is definitely going up. Just from like overdosing and drinking. Drinking these prescriptions. It's crazy. It's really crazy. And don't get me wrong, like, in our day in the 90s, not saying like that was acceptable, but just to know that you couldn't walk away from a fight. Like you said, you had to do the most. Like you lose a fight, somebody punch you in your mouth, you come back with a with a gun. You have to take, you have to kill him. You know what I'm saying? You just have to kill him now. Everybody, and but the next thing and that's something that I always told I told this, I told this to my cousin when he was alive. It's just like you do certain shit, you do it, and the next thing you know, you're just a story. You know what I'm saying? You either dead or in jail, and people talking about free this, free that, but they didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? They didn't go. You know what I'm saying? They didn't go and I guess mollywop the person for you, or like have your back or whatever. Like no, sometimes these the same dudes that put the gun in your hand. You know what I'm saying? Have you wild out and go crazy. And then you're an afterthought after that. So hip hop and its influences is definitely very big. And I'm hoping that we just have like a higher sense. Our youth have a higher sense of awareness of themselves. You know what I'm saying? Just to see what's really going on out
here. Right. And just to clear it up too, like I don't, and I ain't judging nobody like on a political like belief or whatever. Like you know what I mean? So like if that's like his political shit, cool. Specifically like Lil Wayne, but it's just like keep that same energy. Like be consistent with this shit. Like rock with it. Don't come out when it's convenient. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is like, when it's a certain time. Like keep that same energy.
Truthfully, for me, I don't like we talk about it here, but I think to me it leaves like I'm not. If I was a celebrity, if I was a public figure, I guess I wouldn't be talking about it because I'm not. I'm with Marlon. I'm not trying to give him the light of day. This is entertainment. Like Lil Wayne, and Lil Wayne has come out and said, "Yo, I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm in my own world. I do what I want. Like I don't live in your world. I got money."
Same man that said racism don't exist.
Exactly. He came out and spoke against the Black Lives Matter movement. So I'm with you. I'm not. It's entertainment. To me, you speak on that just like let me say it, Daniel Hernandez. It's all entertainment, and the more light that we give them, the more views they getting, the more clicks they getting, and they're gonna continue to control and do all this nonsense because it's not a coincidence. I think someone said it. They did this like this week past, knowing the election is this Tuesday. That was not a coincidence.
You know what I think of?
That's not coincidence. I agree. They're getting paid. They're getting paid, and they selling their soul because they pushing the Trump agenda. Period. That's my opinion on it. And it's all entertainment.
That's what I'm talking about.
Want to give him an amen?
Amen.
There's a thing that like I think what does it for me and I guess it kind of like grinds my gears or whatever be the case, to use that term. Grinds my gears.
CP, I'm like, what?
Yo,
that Archer shit. Enough.
Meet me where I'm at. Meet me where I'm at. But no, seriously speaking, but I think it's a certain level, because I know how hip hop had influenced my life and my livelihood, and how much of a fan I have been of it. To like to Key's point, I was about to say Key. To Clee's point, when you talk about just the level of consistency, and it's like, if this is how you felt all along, then why wasn't that present all along? And it is like, for someone now, like, being older in their career, established in their careers, like, why are you doing that for? And then now is the time where it's like, people are like, yo, it's the cancel culture. Cancel this person, cancel that person, cancel this person. And it's like, damn, am I going to be canceling 50 Cent, Lil Wayne, Kanye, blah, 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 blah. Yo, get the fuck out of here. I don't like none of y'all no more. Fuck Get Rich or Die Trying. Fuck this. I'm like, yo, I'm not watching Power no more. I hate, what's his little name? Hate that little boy. Get him out of here. Shoot him. It's like, yo, Tariq, get Tariq out of here. Get everybody out of here. It's like, yo, I can't listen to a Millie. I can't listen to Millie no more. I can't listen to none of this shit no more. I'm like, and that's where it's like, that's where the frame of thought is going. Is like, because it's like, yo, what are y'all really doing? Like, and that's something I got, like, I'm mused over. It's like, yo, damn, well, I'll be canceling all of these dudes in just one long line. Like, yo, all done. Get out of here, man.
At least you conflicted. Like, damn, like, yo, gotta pick a side. You're like, damn.
Seriously.
So, yeah, I mean, it's hard, because it's like, how do you really separate the artist from the fuckery they do? It's just like, it's hard. It's really difficult. Some people, I think it's easier to do than others, but I don't know.
Yeah. So I think it becomes a little bit more of a challenge, especially as you're growing, as a person, as a man or whatever the case, and you have this certain value system or this moral code that you have established that makes the most sense to you, and then when you see what you thought, because you kind of like gravitated to like someone's music, and you thought they were kind of like singing along to the same, values and morals that you have, and then you see otherwise, it's like, now I gotta look at you totally different. Because honestly speaking, would I feel comfortable still rapping to their lyrics, knowing like, they wear Magna hats, or
that's a big question. And to me, that's a big question with the not to bring to me, is the same thing with the R. Kellys and the Michael Jacksons. Like, how do you distinguish? You're right. How do you distinguish the artist from the art? That's very difficult. So many different layers.
So for philosophical, it's like, how you distinguish the man from the black. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you distinguish a man from the black? It's like, damn.
They don't.
Correct. They don't. They don't.
They said Bill Cosby Diesel now though. They said he put on weight, man.
Yeah.
He lifted 225 into the yard.
That also goes back to what I said. That negative supersedes all the good, whatever has happened. Whatever forget about, we could talk about the product, the stuff that they pushed out that were great when we talk about these kind of men. But when they happen to do something messed up, they forget about all that. Nobody don't want to even see that or talk about that anymore, because that one thing that black person did. But if it was another person now, it would have been all right. But we don't want to mess with them because it is what they saying that they did, and it was crazy. But now we don't want to forget all the good stuff that they pushed out. This stuff was great. Cosby's, Michael, R. Kelly. They pushed out some great stuff, but nobody.
Which makes it harder.
Exactly.
Conflict is real. Conflict is real when it comes to that. But yeah, thank you all. This was another good conversation. I feel like we brought up some very solid points. And I appreciate you all making the time today to do that. If there's anything, of course, you want to plug, feel free to plug. One thing I'm going to plug is that I'm actually going to have the Black Women's Edition. That I'm going.
Hey.
So we're gonna be doing that. So I definitely got some strong women in mind that I'm looking to gather for.
Yeah.
Calm her down, please. But anyway, so we're gonna be doing that. So I'm gonna be rolling that out for December. But it's like I'm gonna because this episode is gonna be rolled out for November. So the second part is gonna be rolled out for November. So that episode will be rolled out for December. But I'm definitely looking to do that and gather some Black women to actually provide their insight and their viewpoints of how they see it with their credibility.
That's what's up. I have something I wanted to share with y'all fellas before we click up. You don't have to record if you don't want to. What's happening in the school, inside the schools nowadays, right? The other day, this is what I experienced, right? During their selection times, a lot of people take this opportunity to express how they feel. You get what I'm saying? Now they're doing it to our kids. And this is what I told you from the last time we spoke, this is called conditioning. This is happening in the schools, which is being allowed, or I want to say tolerated. You know what I'm saying? I had a long conversation with this principal when I was ready to go in on him, and I told him he don't want me in his school. So now the teachers nowadays, the kids are going to the schools now, regardless of how they're doing it. I know they're telecommuting and they doing it, whatever, and they're doing like 3 days on, 2 days on, you know what I'm saying? Now the times that they're going in, this one teacher felt like he had to tell students that Black people are getting paid more now just because of that. Now, no, see, I don't want to lie on this guy. He said minorities are getting paid more now because of their color, not because of what they know. So now he told these Black kids, or these kids in the classroom, that my daughter in particular told them that you're good, you'll be okay getting a job just because you're Black and you're a woman. They have to hire you because they have they got to fill a quota or because of what's going on now. Now, this is what teachers are telling kids in school nowadays because of what's going on, because they feel that, all the stuff that they had harboring up or whatever, and they was waiting for the best opportunity to get this out. And they chose to do this to kids. And I also want to stress something out, right? My daughter happened to be, it's only 2 Black people in that classroom. One is my daughter, and another one is another Black young kid, right? So now, when this was brought to me, I lost it, but I had to calm down and say whatever, try to be politically correct. The principal interviewed all the kids in that classroom to make sure, to see is this what the teacher has said. The teacher admitted to it. Do you know that? He had the balls to say, yes, I did say that. But only to let them know that that's what's going on and they're okay, that these Black kids are going to be okay getting a job because of their color, only because they're going to fit. The unions have to fit this quota. That's why he said that. So was that to deter the white person from getting a job or to deter the Black kids? I don't know. So now he interviewed everybody in that classroom. Guess the one person that said they didn't hear him say that. I bet y'all all know. I know y'all know. Now, this is what I say about being conditioned. Now, that one kid, Black kid, said he ain't hear nothing, but every white kid in that classroom said yes, that teacher, and it bothered the white kids. You see what's crazy about that? The white kid said, yo, that bothered me. I didn't know why he was talking to these black kids like that. Why did he even talk like that? That one black kid in the classroom said he ain't hear nothing. I ain't hear nothing that man said about us being black. Now, I know he was raised to shut up. I know he was raised to not say nothing, because if you say something, it's a target on your back. Newsflash, little man. You already got a target on your back. That white man chose that time and that he got his opportunity to tell you that the only way you're gonna get a job, fuck how hard you worked, fuck your credibility, what your qualifications, fuck all that. That wasn't given to you. Forget all that. But he's telling you you're only gonna get hired or paid because they fit in a quota. They fill in a quota. You get what I'm saying? That's what he basically saying. And that kid, because he's being raised by his parents now to say, don't say nothing, because if you keep your mouth shut, you'll get ahead. They'll leave you alone. You see what I'm saying? That bothered me a lot. That bothered me because now imagine the conversation that I gotta have with my daughter or her brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? In that school. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. This is what's going on now in this election around this time. These teachers are feeling like in school, they're feeling like they have to, this is the time to tell kids how they feel. Because he said, oh, I forgot. I totally slipped my mind. His reason was because when he was working in the field, he's an electrician now, in the field that I asked you fuck with. He's an electrician now. And he got upset because a black man got hired and got paid more than him. So he wanted to know why this black man is getting paid more than him. Forget how much knowledge this black man has. Because in that field, in that union, you ain't getting paid unless you know what you know. So now he got mad because this white man this black man just got hired and he's getting paid more. So he went to his boss and said, yo, boss, why is this black man getting paid more than me? And this is stuff he's telling my kids. This is what he's telling the kids in the classroom. Why is this black man getting paid more than me? His boss said, oh, come on, man. We only hired this black man because we had to fill a quota. We have to hire a certain amount of blacks. That's what he's telling the kids. This happened. Now, this ain't happened back then. This happened just a few days ago. You see what I'm saying? This is what's going on. So now this is what I'm telling you. I feel what his goal is, and I told him, and I told that teacher, and I told the principal. His goal was to condition, to discourage our kids. That's what his goal is, to crush their future. You see what I'm saying? When you work so hard, regardless of what, you work so hard to tell them that, to teach them, to distill certain type of things in them, and this teacher, you know how many years it takes for you to just get your kids to have your kids even sit down and listen to you. That 1 hour, that how long, that 15 minutes just took away all of that because of how he feels. I'm done, man. I hope you have a good day.
Nah, I appreciate you sharing that. You know what I mean?
Not over now. Nah, son.
Nah, I appreciate that. That's deep.
Man,
That's deep.
Stop
Yeah,
playing,
exactly.
son. I'm putting my sneakers on right now, son.
The crazy shit about that, like, that really pisses me off. You know, at the end of the day, everybody have entitled to their own opinions, how they feel, whatever the case may be, which is true. But the fact that he even felt comfortable saying that,
that's what I said.
And there's no consequences.
That's
and it's
what I'm
like,
saying.
Even like the leaders in America, I mean, presidents, whatever, it's like, you could just say what you want and there's no consequences.
Yeah, that's the time.
Like what? Like, for him to even say, yeah, I said that.
That's what I said.
Like,
for him
you,
to even
you
say,
serious?
For him to even say to his boss or whatever, the principal, yeah, I did say that, but I meant to do what?
No, it was worse.
That's crazy. And then the crazy thing is, let you say something to him. Oh, you threatening this and that. Police ready to lock you up. Oh, he threatened me. He did.
This is what I'm saying.
It's like, yo, this is crazy.
I was really
even if your daughter would have said something, they would have been ready to suspend her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. They probably would have. It would have probably went further. She'd have got expelled. She wouldn't be able to go to the school again because she got into a really good school, and it bothered me that these children feels that. See, that's what the situation is. Now, just to get into the school, it was like a lottery. You had to write an essay. You had to be picked. Mm-hmm. So these kids, and I told these kids, I said, so don't feel like, yo, you lucky. You wasn't lucky. You earned that. You earned that seat in that school. Exactly. That wasn't luck. You had to show these kids, you had to keep an A average. You had to show these people in the school that you deserve to be here. So don't feel that you have to be sitting up in these motherfucking classrooms and just taking heat from these teachers because you're lucky to be here. They lucky to have you. You get what I'm saying? So these kids in the classroom, and it's a lot of them in there. It's a lot of them. It might not be a lot. No, it's not a lot of us in there. It's not. It's mostly white. It is. Now, the little few of us that's in there, they're all thinking and moving the same way. They feel like, yo, we're lucky to be in here, and that's a lot of people. Forget the kids in the school, man. It's a lot of black people. Yo, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut because I don't want to be a target. But again, newsflash, breaking news. You're already a target, unfortunately. Now, speak now. Okay, because remember before a long time ago, we always stayed quiet. That's what we was raised to do, right? That's what we was
keep
taught.
your head low.
No, we were taught to stay quiet with others.
There you go.
But when it comes to us, we rowdy. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
We rowdy.
Sometimes, even when it came to like the classroom, and I guess, yeah, like for personally speaking, it's like when you're not paying attention, you're not paying attention. So that person could be saying a whole bunch of extra shit or whatever. You like some people just like, yo, I'm just taking a cutting class or cutting my next class, going the hallway, linking up with the bros and them and a little girly thing, I mean, because we got a little something on the side, and you're not even in the frame of mind to actually take in what the teacher is saying. But in this particular situation where it definitely, like, it makes me mad, it makes me disappointed, but it's also knowing that, you know, PA in that area, it's a swing state and they got a whole bunch of things going on out there, but it's like for you looking to provide a better living environment for your children, you know? So it's like, of course, like not knowing, like, and it literally just came up because Jess and I was talking about this in terms of like how we are looking at the schools and how that will play a part, you know, in the near future, you know, in terms of that type of environment, and then like what type of instruction will be there, like what type of training, like teaching models will they have. But that shit is crazy. But the thing is too, is like, I didn't hear you say nothing about he was suspended. He was told he had to do a training, like anything like that. Like I literally got someone who was ear hustling on a conversation of mine, and she was an admin on one of the contracts we had in our space, and saying that I was misrepresenting LGBTQ community, and next thing you know, the whole site had to do with training. The whole site had to do with training, and I'm like that's not what I was saying, but it's like we all had to do with training all for that. So it's like you telling me like, yo, come on, especially, you know, during this time where people are probably more sensitive. You know,
yes.
It's a case you coming out, you projecting, you know, because you and your feelings about certain things or whatever the case, and this is what you project, and the message that you share to the young people that you're not supposed to be instructing them or teaching them in that manner. You know, so yeah, that's crazy, man. That's
you know,
really crazy.
but the thing about that is I'm not gonna lie, like it's sad to say, but teachers, even professors, even at the college level, they could be some of the most emboldened, cynical, you know, discouraging people in the world. You know, and it's sad, and it's like at this point in time, especially when they take on that level to where either they have tenure or they know it's just like you just can't just fire them unless, like, you know, they do something to the extreme. But it's as far as like saying something in the class, next thing they know is just get put in a rubber room or just like another school for like another assignment for a little bit, and then it's right back in the classroom. I think that it was just a matter of just telling that statement alone. It just resonates with is how we were just talking about as far as Black people. We're just taught just to settle, keep your head down, behave, stay cool, and you'll skate on through. You'll be all right. There's opportunities out there for you, but for like you said, for your daughter and for this other young black kid in this class, you don't know what that did. It's just like, oh, I don't need to work hard anymore. I don't need to keep an A average. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be good. You know, I'll get a job. You know what I'm saying? I'll be able to make some money. But what about you? Right. You know, it's like, what if I want to become a doctor? What if I want to become a lawyer? What if I want to be a nuclear? You know, all these different type of things, and it's just like that one statement alone. You know what I'm saying? Could crush all that. So that's shameful. It's shameful. But it happens all across, not only just in like in PA or just like that. It happens all across the board. Because it even happened to me.
I know.
Yeah. Like it happened to me in college. Like teacher was a lawyer, had his law degree and everything, studied at Cambridge, but yet he's telling me, oh no, there's no need to go to law school. There's no need to be a lawyer. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, am I thinking about the wrong field? And that has had me questioning everything and taking into consideration grades, money, finances, household, age, all these different things. And it's just like,
it's all to the system, man. Because I've experienced that. I've also experienced flip side. Some people have been like, "Yo, like, nah, you need to. Oh, you sign this application. You're smart. You can go to Ivy League. Like, you can go to like a good what they call target school. Like, you could, you know." And I've also had the flip side to what you said, where it's making it seem like if you're not adequate, you know. And imagine you hearing that when you're younger. Imagine what that does to you. Now that we know, you know. Imagine what that does to you.
That's why it's being done.
I'm glad you brought that in though, Marlon. That's just crazy right there. That's serious. That's really serious.
Definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
What's the next step though? There.
Say that again.
What's the next steps? Like, teaching that front.
Well, this is what the principal said. He said, he's gonna deal with the situation accordingly. He's gonna discipline this teacher, and what he said. The next thing he said he's putting another assistant in that classroom to make sure that he doesn't say this thing again. But what I'm doing, I had some steps because I got some friends, some neighbors that they know some people that's dealing with the district or whatever. That's some higher ups, and they talking. I'm getting in contact with his director, so I'm gonna let him know that this is not gonna be tolerated. Because if it was another person, this shit would have hit the news. You get what I'm saying? This shit would have been crazy, you know. So I'm definitely taking steps. But this is all he said. I told him he wanted to have a meeting with me and this individual. I said, I want you to get locked up. Yeah, I told him. I said, you're not smart. I said, you're not a smart principal. Then, I said, what kind of suggestion is that? I said, you don't hear how I'm talking to you? What makes you think I'm gonna talk to this guy after this guy tells me that this is how he feels? So what he's gonna, and you telling me he's 60 years old? So he said maybe the way I talk to him could change him. I said, this man is 60 years old. He's telling me about something that happened to him 30 years ago. That's what you're saying, and I'm gonna change him? I said he waited for this opportunity to express how he feel. Now he's all cool. He can feel however he wants to feel, but he shouldn't have told my daughter that. He shouldn't have told no children that. I don't care if it was purple. Yeah, he shouldn't have told no child that. I don't care if it was purple, green, pink. You know what I'm saying? But he wants me to talk to him. I told him, listen, you do not want me in that school. I said, you don't want me to talk to this man, and you don't want me in your school. So do what you got to do, and I'm going to do what I got to do. And that's it. All right. So we'll see. I'm going to see what's going on. I'm still going to push it. I'm definitely going to push it because I know if my daughter would have said something but I went left, she'd probably be looking for a new school. So see what's up. I just wanted to share that with y'all because this is what's going on with our kids. I'm telling you, they're hitting our kids, and that's what they're doing.
I appreciate that, man.
Definitely appreciate that, man. And overall, no, that's just overall, just trying to be as mindful as possible, especially during these times. You know, even though, like, for example, like I'm not a fan of the news. I'm like a huge, not like huge against the news, but now I have to pay more attention to it. Because I gotta see what they're talking about out here, you know, and what's the narrative that's being pushed. Because I like it's not only related to my well-being, but other people that I care for. So I gotta be mindful of that. So it's like, yeah, definitely, appreciate you sharing that, because that's important. That's important insight overall. And I really do hope I ain't gonna front. I would have demanded more of a breakdown of what this discipline was going to be entail.
Nah, they choose not to tell you. That's the first thing they say. I can't tell you what's the discipline is. I can't give you that information, but
Yeah,
do know.
it's like in working someone in admin leave. They can't. Oh, it's investigation in progress. They're not going to tell you that.
They can't. That's what they say. But between me and y'all, man, they ain't doing shit.
No,
I don't know. I might have put our lawyer talk out there too. I don't know. Man, I'm about to do some things.
This man's still getting paid, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and he's gonna
absolutely.
And he's gonna say it again.
That man is 60-some years old. He is a few years away from retirement. He don't give a damn.
He don't give a fuck. Yeah, exactly. You told me that's what the first time he told me his age. I was like, oh, this dude don't give a fuck. He's gonna make sure he tried to destroy and crush any dreams of a kid coming in that classroom. That's what he's gonna do. That's his motive. That's his goal before he died, because he's only like a few years about kicking it with his feet up. So he's gonna be. He's gonna do his job. He's gonna do his best to destroy someone else. Now, that's why we got a hard. It's gonna be. It is definitely gonna be a little battle, because now I gotta rebuild. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it's Halloween, y'all. What y'all know?
Man,
I'm chilling.
I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm chilling.
I'm chilling too.
You trick or treating with the kids?
Yo, bro, you just blew my head, right? Like, trying to get back.
we don't trick or treat, man.
Rasheem, you still got to walk the dog?
Huh?
Yo.
Yeah.
Wait, what you said? I don't know.
You gotta walk the dogs.
You don't walk the dogs.
Yeah, I gotta walk the dogs later for sure. But they lamping right now. But but yeah. Wow.
On them too.
Listen, once again, like, I appreciate you, brothers. I appreciate your energy. Thank you for being a part of, the podcast once again, and sharing your insight. Even more of a emphasis on a point on how we need to pay attention. We need to remain curious. We need to pursue that knowledge and that information that's going to help us further develop and empower ourselves. So definitely appreciate you all for that. Once again, if there's anything you want to plug, you can plug it. But if not, then I just look forward to touching base with you all down the line.
Plugs.
And try to enjoy the rest of your day.
Go vote for the folks who haven't already, man.
I did that already.
Yeah, I done that, bro.
Did that.
Get that together over there. Get that together over there.
Yeah, I said for y'all going in. I like that.
Didn't vote. He ain't vote.
Clee, you vote?
Yeah, I voted.
Yo, bro, you the only one, man.
Yo, y'all. Yo,
man.
Yeah,
by the time he dropped this, it's gonna be over. It's gonna be over.
Wait, I still got my ballot. Like, yo, man, get out of here, man.
That's what they hoping too.
Yo, I work. They gave us time off for that as well. So,
no excuse.
Yeah, I'm going.
That's
Tuesday.
why you got to vote. Exactly. They gave you time.
I'm going Tuesday. Yo, Rasheem, hold on. Rasheem, I'm gonna send a picture. Make sure and text Marlon and say, "Yo, Simba voted Tuesday."
Send that.
I got
send
you.
That, Rasheem.
But I want to give you your props for probably being the only person I know that said I got a plug for voting. I got to call the link, and they're gonna skip me in the line.
I'm gonna get in.
Anyway, I'm off this. I'm gonna talk to you all soon. Man.
I just found. That happened today, man.
Take it easy, fellas. Be safe.
All right,
right?
appreciate it.
All right,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Stay up, man. Appreciate it.
Definitely, y'all. Be good.